4 million people visit Banff National Park every year. They come for the turquoise lakes, the wildlife, the mountains that look exactly like the photographs. Most experience Banff as a well-managed tourist destination: gondolas, hot springs, a main street hotel that looks like a castle, wildlife visible from the road. What the tourism infrastructure does not communicate is that Banff is also 6,641 square kilometers of mountain terrain, most of it seeing no human foot traffic in a given year, most of it genuinely wild in ways that the well-managed entrances conceal. People have gone missing inside Banff National Park. Some were found. Some were not. This is the part of the Banff experience that does not appear in the visitor's guide. The town of Banff, the commercial center of the park, sits at 1,383 meters elevation in the Bow Valley. It has hotels, restaurants, a hospital, and roughly 9,000 permanent residents. It receives more tourists per year than some small countries. From the main street, the mountains look accessible, framed by buildings, close enough to photograph easily, present but contained. They are not contained. The mountain terrain immediately surrounding the town becomes genuinely wild within minutes of leaving the marked trail system. The park's trail network covers approximately 1,600 kilometers, impressive by any standard, but a small fraction of the park's 6,641 square kilometers of total terrain. The backcountry, the valleys, high ridges, and glacier approaches beyond the maintained trail system, is accessed by a relatively small number of experienced hikers each year. In the backcountry, cell coverage is absent. Rescue response is measured in hours to days depending on location and weather. A hiker who leaves a marked trail with a wrong turn can be genuinely lost within 30 minutes in terrain that looks navigable from a distance and is not. The park does not distinguish between an experienced mountaineer and a visitor who wandered off a trail, assuming the park's managed appearance extended to its entire area. Parks Canada operates one of the most experienced mountain rescue teams in North America from its Banff base. The Banff Warden Service has conducted mountain rescues since the park's earliest decades. The team deploys by helicopter, on foot, and in winter by snowmobile and ski. The statistics reveal a consistent pattern across decades. The most common rescue scenarios are overdue hikers who underestimated time or distance, injuries from falls on trail or off trail, and medical emergencies in the backcountry. The number of fatalities is small relative to total visitor numbers. The park is, statistically, reasonably safe for the average tourist who stays on marked trails and returns before dark. The number of fatalities among people who leave marked trails, or who enter backcountry terrain without adequate preparation, is significantly higher on a per-person basis. Parks Canada does not publish comprehensive statistics on persons who entered the park and were never found. The number exists. It is not publicly compiled in a single accessible document. Journalists and researchers have assembled partial records from coroner's reports, incident databases, and historical records stretching back to the park's establishment in 1885. The picture they assemble is not the picture on the visitor's guide. Highway 93, the Icefields Parkway, runs 232 kilometers from Lake Louise in Banff to Jasper in the adjacent national park. It is consistently ranked among the most scenic drives in the world. Travel magazines describe it in terms that are not exaggerated. The scenery is genuinely extraordinary. It also runs through high mountain terrain with almost no services for most of its length, limited cell coverage throughout, and emergency access measured in response times of 30 minutes to an hour depending on location. The parkway passes the Columbia Icefield, one of the largest masses of ice south of the Arctic Circle, and skirts the approaches to dozens of peaks and glaciers. Visitors who stop at designated viewpoints and return to their cars experience one version of the parkway. The incidents along this road that have resulted in deaths and disappearances involve people who left their vehicles to explore terrain that looked more accessible than it was, glaciers that appeared solid and proved to be crevassed, scramble routes that looked manageable and were not, river crossings misjudged in snowmelt season. The Athabasca Glacier, the most visited glacier in North America, has claimed lives from visitors who walked onto the ice without a guide. The glacier's surface is covered with meltwater streams that conceal crevasses. The warning signs at the glacier boundary are not posted for legal protection. They are posted because people have died ignoring them. The cases that generate the most lasting uncertainty are those where search and rescue deployed, searched the most probable areas, and found nothing. A person goes missing from a trailhead, their vehicle in the parking lot, their itinerary filed with the park or with family, no signal since the last confirmed contact. Search teams cover the trail system, the adjacent terrain, the watercourses. Dogs are deployed. In some cases, helicopters with thermal imaging are used. In some cases, the person is found, injured, disoriented, in terrain they did not intend to enter. In some cases, the person is not found. The case remains open. The body, if there is one, lies in terrain inaccessible to searchers or concealed by snow, water, or the sheer scale of the mountain environment. Parks Canada's records contain a number of cases fitting this description, people whose last known location was Banff National Park and who were never found. Their names are in the missing persons database. Their fate is listed as unknown. The park absorbed them as it absorbs everything that enters its backcountry, without explanation, without ceremony, and without giving anything back. This is not a failure of the rescue system. It is a statement about the scale of the terrain. 6,600 square kilometers of mountain country does not surrender everything it holds. Banff National Park is home to a resident grizzly bear population estimated by Parks Canada at approximately 60 to 65 bears. Grizzly encounters with hikers are documented each season. Parks Canada issues regular bear activity advisories, closes trails when bears are present, and provides mandatory bear spray rental at park entrances. Serious grizzly attacks, resulting in injury or death, are statistically rare but have occurred in the park and across the broader Canadian Rockies. The question that arises specifically in backcountry disappearance cases is whether a grizzly encounter can account for a disappearance that produces no recoverable remains. The answer is yes, under specific conditions. A grizzly bear that kills and caches prey in dense mountain terrain may locate its cache in terrain effectively impossible to find without knowing the specific site. In terrain without trails, a cache site may be unfindable by search teams even with dogs. Parks Canada does not formally attribute any specific unsolved disappearance to grizzly predation. The possibility is acknowledged in the context of backcountry safety briefings. In cases where a missing person was in documented grizzly habitat during active feeding season and was never found, the possibility is not ruled out. It is never resolved. The uncertainty is a permanent feature of some cases. The Bow River runs through the heart of Banff National Park, entering the park from the Continental Divide and flowing east through the town of Banff before continuing across Alberta. It is one of the most photographed rivers in Canada, the turquoise color produced by glacial flowers suspended in the water, the clarity, the framing of mountains on both sides. It is also a cold, fast-moving watercourse fed by glacial melt. The Bow's temperature, even in summer, stays cold enough to cause rapid incapacitation in an unprotected person. Cold water shock, the physiological response to sudden immersion in water below 15 degrees Celsius, can disable even a strong swimmer within minutes of entering. Drowning in cold water does not follow the same timeline as drowning in warm water. The response can be rapid and complete in a way that gives bystanders no time to intervene. Bodies recovered from cold mountain rivers are often found far downstream from the point of entry, sometimes kilometers away, sometimes outside the park boundary entirely. Cases where a person entered the Bow River and the body was not recovered are not unusual in the historical record. The river's flow rate and the presence of logjams and undercut banks in certain reaches mean that remains can be permanently trapped. The Bow River is beautiful. It is also genuinely dangerous. The two things coexist without contradiction. Parks Canada maintains detailed operational records of incidents, rescues, and fatalities within Banff National Park. These records are not public in comprehensive form. Researchers who have accessed them through access to information requests have found a detailed picture of the park's incident history, the specific locations of accidents, the nature of injuries, the outcome of rescue operations. What these records reveal, in aggregate, is consistent with what one would expect of a large mountain wilderness receiving millions of visitors annually. Most people visit safely, a small percentage encounter serious difficulty, and a very small percentage of those who encounter difficulty are not recovered. The park has not concealed this information, it is accessible to those who seek it through appropriate channels. What the park has not done is compile and publish a comprehensive account of its unresolved disappearances in a form accessible to the general public. This reflects a general institutional tendency. Parks and wilderness managers emphasize safety and accessibility in public communications while maintaining detailed operational records of incidents that complicate that narrative. The complication is real. The records are real. The incidents happened. They simply do not appear on the Parks Canada website next to the trail map. If they did, it would not change the beauty of the mountains. It would change whether visitors understood what they were entering. The mountains surrounding Banff were formed approximately 170 million years ago when the North American tectonic plate compressed and folded. They have been changing, slowly, ever since, glaciers advancing and retreating, rockfalls reshaping valley floors, rivers carving new channels through bedrock that has existed longer than any human institution. The human presence in the park, 140 years of recorded visitation since its establishment in 1885, is a brief footnote to a geological process that operates on scales human record-keeping cannot track. The mountain does not record the deaths and disappearances that occur within it. It does not flag the locations of remains absorbed into its terrain. It does not distinguish between the bodies of experienced mountaineers and unprepared tourists. It accepts all of them with equal indifference. Parks Canada manages what it can manage: the trails, the campgrounds, the response times, the bear advisories. The mountain manages the rest. What it has absorbed over 140 years of recorded human visitation is a matter of incomplete record and, in some cases, genuine and permanent mystery. The turquoise lakes in the photographs are real. So is the terrain that begins where the photographs end. Both things are Banff. Only one of them is on the brochure. Banff gets 4 million visitors a year. Almost none of them know the park's complete incident history. The ones who disappeared inside it are in a database most people never check. Canada's wilderness is not decorative. It is not a backdrop. It is a real environment with real consequences, and the people who manage it know things that the tourist brochures do not say. This channel exists to say them. Subscribe for a new Canadian story every week: the parks, the highways, the towns, and the wilderness that the country's official narrative leaves in the margins. The mountains were here before the country. They will be here long after. They keep their own records. We keep ours.